Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. So I've got a video that's going to be very useful for you if you're interested in signing up to a crypto exchange. It's very important to be aware of what you're actually paying to get this service. So these services, although you can sign up for free, aren't actually free. And it's not that I think that exchanges are intentionally trying to mislead you, but these costs aren't necessarily obvious until you research them. So if you get a calculator, what I want you to do is every time you sign up to an exchange, input 10,000 to represent $10,000 you might trade, and then you need to calculate by 0.1% because that tends to be the average across all exchanges. Now what you'll find if you do that, 0.1% comes out to $10. So that is the typical spot trading fee if you were to buy $10,000 of Bitcoin. And you want to kind of use this as an average. Any more than that is too expensive, any less than that is good. And you might think, well, $10 isn't really so much, but what happens is you're probably going to use this exchange over a long period of time. So you buy that, and then later on, when I guess Bitcoin is worth more, you'll sell your Bitcoin, and then you'll have to spend even more on spot trading fees. And what if you want to swap between Bitcoin and a stable coin, or between an altcoin? These fees really do add up, especially if you consider if you're going to be in this environment, the crypto trading environment, for how many years. Even if you're just a hodler, it's really important to take this into account. So what I've done is I've just set up a non-comprehensive list of different exchanges that I've used, and I'm going to tell you what their spot trading fees are, what the withdrawal fees are, because that's a very important one, and I'm going to talk about two other things, and that's whether it's got Lightning integrated and whether or not you can use the native token of that exchange to reduce your withdrawal fees. And I'm going to give you a few other suggestions that you can use to help lower the cost. So first one I've got up here is Bybit. Now Bybit is one that I use a lot because I'm mainly into peer-to-peer cryptocurrency trading, and if you're interested in learning about that, check out some of the videos on my channel. And out of all the centralized exchanges, Bybit's probably got the best and most comprehensive peer-to-peer exchange, but we aren't here for that. Let's look at how much you would pay for spot trading. Now, as you can see, they've got all these different VIP levels, but this is all to bamboozle you. For the average person, like 99% of people watching this video, probably 99.9% of this video, your 30-day spot trading volume is going to be less than 100K. And as a result, your taker fee is going to be 0.2%, or your maker fee will be 0.15%. On that note, I just want to say for the record, I believe that you should just focus on the taker fee. Now, for those who aren't familiar, the taker fee is what happens when you make a market order. That's when you just buy whatever is on the order book. The maker trade is when you make a limit order and you add an order to the order book and you have to wait for someone to buy or sell from your order. So if you add orders to the order book, your fee is going to be less. Now, a lot of people recommend that you do a limit order so you can save on the fee. Personally, I don't necessarily think this is a good idea in an environment such as Bitcoin, because the price of Bitcoin is so volatile. It's very easy for your limit order not to be filled, and you might be waiting day after day for the price to go back to the level that you originally set your limit order at, and unfortunately discovered that the price is just not going back there. So if you have to do it 5 days later when the price is different, you'll end up losing money. And so pretty much it's if you want just to consistently not have to deal with the stress of this, just pay a little extra. Sorry, I just realized I'm a bit in the way. There we go. Okay, so let's just look at the taker fee. So 0.2%, if you spent 10K on Bitcoin, you're going to spend $20. Now, that's not the only equation. We've now got to look at the withdrawal fee, and this is where I really do not like Bybit. The withdrawal fee is 0.0002 Bitcoin, which comes out to $19.62. Now, this varies on how busy the network is. Oh, again, I'm in the way. Sorry about that. Again, this depends on how busy the network is. Frequently, when it's not busy, I'm spending about $12 on withdrawal fees on Bybit, but that's still way too much. I do not recommend using Bybit for the purposes of just buying Bitcoin. I think there are better options. So now I'm going to, all the exchanges that I mentioned from here on out, are better. And as we go on, the very last one that I mentioned is the very best one. So watch through to the end. So the next one I've got is OKX. Now, I used to be extremely fond of OKX because they had excellent withdrawal fees, one of the lowest and the best in all of the exchanges that I've used. As you can see here, it's 0.00002. So that's like 1/10 as much as what you would have paid on Bybit. That's what comes down to at current prices around $2. And I've used OKX where a lot of the time it can be just $1 or something like that. So what's the catch? It seems really good. The problem with OKX that I don't like is that the taker fee is 0.5%, which means that if you were to spend $10,000 on Bitcoin, you would end up spending $50 just to make that transaction happen, right? So imagine later on, when the price of Bitcoin is higher, let's just say it gets to 200K, you want to sell it all into fiat again, that's going to cost you $100. So in total, you'll spend like $150, right, in that example. But let's just, again, if you use $10,000, so $50 in spot trading fees and $2 in withdrawal fees, you're spending $52, right? So in that sense, Bybit is actually cheap. I should have made OKX first. I'm just usually, I just used to be very fond of it because I used it back when I was mainly focused on the withdrawal fees, and I've only recently learned about the spot trading fees, and I decided I'm never using OKX again. That's absurd. That's an obscene amount. So yeah. Anyway, the next one is BitGet, and I've been researching out about BitGet because, you know, these days I've been looking at, you know, because of my activities, I'm into peer-to-peer trading, I'm looking to reduce the amount of money that I'm spending on spot fees, and that's how I've kind of come to do the research for this video. I was looking at BitGet, you know, it's been getting a lot of attention, its token's been worth a lot of money these days, and as we can see here, it's got 0.1%, that's pretty good. That is what you would generally expect, but what's good here is you get 20% off if you have the BitGet token. Now, this is going to feature in the other exchanges that I mentioned later on, but you really want to consider, especially if you're doing a lot more than 10K, right? If you're the kind of person that's buying tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of Bitcoin, exchange tokens actually can be really worthwhile in reducing the amount of money that you spend. So we'll use the example of like 10K. You buy 10K worth of Bitcoin, you'd spend $10 worth in spot fees, but if you just buy $2 of the BitGet token, then you'll only spend $8, right? So you save $2. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot of money, but again, you've got to think about the long term of you using Bitcoin. Like, imagine if all of your buys and sells and you're trading between crypto and crypto over 4 years, right? Like, your total fees could easily end up being $1,000, right? If you're not paying attention, right? So that $200, that definitely adds up. So that's why, to me, it's important to pay attention to whether or not the exchange has the ability for you to reduce your fees using the exchange token, right? So this was got the BitGet one, the BitGet token. Now, the next one is, what are the withdrawal fees? So here we've got 5 zeros and an 8. That comes out to around $8. I would assume that because I think the fees are a little bit high now, probably that's a little bit less than that. I mean, it's probably around $4 on average, right? Now, the next thing I want to mention is that when you're looking at the withdrawal fees, also pay attention to whether or not the exchange has Lightning integrated. Now, Lightning will basically make it extremely cheap. I'm not a huge fan of Lightning because I find some aspects of it impractical, but it's important to take into account because withdrawal fees they can tend to be one of the main fees on an exchange, and if you're someone that uses Lightning, then that is going to save you a huge headache. So BitGet gets a B plus for me. Like, that's a pretty good deal so far. Good exchange, good spot fees. You've got the BitGet token to reduce your fees. It's got Bitcoin Lightning, and the withdrawal fee is, so far, it's pretty good. Now, the next one is Binance. Now, Binance is probably one of the best ones that I could recommend, just simply because Binance has got a good brand name. It's been around for a long time, and it's kind of set the standard for what you should expect when it comes to spot trading fees, because they have been the cheapest for a long time, and you've got new exchanges like BitG and a few of the ones that I'm going to mention later on that have tried to essentially compete with Binance to be the cheapest when it comes to fees, but 0.1% is how it is on Binance. That's for maker and taker. So that's pretty good, and for the most part, historically, that's been the cheapest you can get. And it's because of Binance that everyone else is trying to become cheaper. And as you can see here, if you've got Binance token, you can reduce your fees by 25%. And that's really good, because if you compare the BitG token's only been around for a relatively short amount of time, whereas Binance token is part of a really major ecosystem, so you don't have to feel uncomfortable about owning the Binance token, right? Like, you can use it to reduce your fees, but you don't have to worry about, if it's going to rug out on you, because, the Binance token is used for so many different things, including paying for fees on the BSC layer 1 protocols. So there's huge amount of demand for the Binance token, so you don't have to worry about holding a bunch of it and, the price going down as much as, say, other tokens that I might mention. But yeah, so that matters. And the other thing that's important is the withdrawal fees. They're pretty reasonable. It's $5, and again, this is made at a time when the fees currently high, so I've spent, $3 on withdrawal fees. I think Binance is actually pretty reasonable. And most importantly is that you've got Lightning Network integration, which makes it a lot better. And then you've got a bunch of other ways of withdrawing. You can use BEP20, you've got SegWit, and you've even got ERC20. So with all these options, I have to rate Binance pretty highly. I give it an A. I think Binance is pretty good. So I've got 2 more recommendations, and these are, I think, really good if you're just trying to scrimp out and save as much as you can on fees. So the next one I've got here is Gate.io. So Gate.io is just trying to outcompete Binance by having a little bit of a cheaper rate. So I'm just going to assume that you're not VIP anything. You're VIP 0. You're not doing tons of volume. But let's look here. You've got 0.9%, right? So that's 0.1% cheaper than Binance. I don't know. I think you should be able to get a discount if you've got the Gate.io token, although you're going to have to research about that. But what's good is that the VIP levels, the barrier for entry is a lot lower. So if you saw on Bybit, if you want to go from VIP 0 to VIP 1 and get a spot trading fee discount, you need like 1.5 million in 30-day trading volume. Whereas here, it's only 60,000, and I don't even know if that's got to be done within a 30-day period. You can research on it, so you get a little bit of a discount. It's not a huge amount, but I still rate it highly for being overall cheaper than even Binance. And that's without even having to have the exchange token discount. But then we've got the withdrawal fee. So at the lowest, it can go to $4, right? So again, high trading fees right now. So probably you're looking at $3, maybe a little less. Could be $2.50, right? So that's Gate.io. Now, the number one that I recommend, the one that I'm currently using right now, is MEXC. So the reason why I like MEXC is just because it's the cheapest. I've heard about MEXC for a while. I had zero interest in moving from the other exchanges I was using to MEXC. The only reason why I decided to start using it is the fees are just really, 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 really good. So let's look at the spot trading fees, 0.05%. So if you were to spend $10,000, you would only spend around $5 on spot trading fees. That's incredible, right? And then we've got the withdrawal fee, which is, drum roll, okay, so 0.00015%. Do you know what that is? That comes down to around basically $1. And again, we've got high fees right now. So what does that mean? I mean, you could end up spending maybe maybe like 80, 90 cents. I mean, it doesn't need to get cheaper than that, because then you might start having problems with transactions. But yeah, like $1, right? So if you spend $10,000 to buy you know, $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, and you withdraw it, your total cost would be like $6. So that is as good as it gets. And MEXC also definitely has an exchange token, which you're gonna have to research about this, but oh no, for sure, 100%, you can actually get a 20% discount on your fees. So you can save a lot with that. And if you buy a certain amount of MEXC token, I think it's $500 worth, then you get 50% discount. So that's like crazy. So again, $10,000 of Bitcoin that you purchase. If you have $500 worth of MEXC, then that goes down to $2.50, right? Without $500, let's just say you bought like a couple of bucks worth of MEXC token, then you'd spend like $4, right? So yeah, so I really recommend MEXC. It's the cheapest. And yes, I do have an affiliate link for that if you want to get even more of a discount. So check out my referral link in the description below. And I'm not ranking it as #1 simply because I have a referral link for it. It's only because I started researching about it and I started using it myself that I decided, you know what, I might as well make an affiliate link for it. So check that out. And if you want more information regarding other exchanges that I haven't mentioned, because obviously there's so many more, you can use this website here. It's called withdrawalfees.com/coin/Bitcoin, and it's got a few here. It's not a lot. I don't think it's a very comprehensive list, but the reason why I didn't bring it up in my video is just because it's mentioning all these exchanges where the fees are just outright just theft. I mean, everything outside of OKX on this list is crazy expensive. Like, I mean, look at this. Whitebit $24, Deribit $10, Bitfinex $39. I mean, I don't know how accurate this is because it's saying Binance is like $100. So I don't take that with a grain of salt, but check it out. And there's another one called Coinly.io, spelled with a K. And then it goes through some of the fees here. But again, this is not the most comprehensive list. And now, guys, I don't usually recommend centralized exchanges. The name of my channel is called Debank Dave because I want to help people reduce their reliance on centralized systems, whatever that may be, whether that's in the crypto world or the fiat world. So if you want to buy cryptocurrency without KYC in a more decentralized manner using fiat, then you're going to want to use a peer-to-peer cryptocurrency exchange like Local CoinSwap, like HODL HODL, like BitPapa, like the ones that I've got in my referral links in the description down below. So if you're interested in them, make sure to check that out. And if you don't know how to use these exchanges, you can check out some of my other videos on how to use them, and I will see you later.